I wrote House of Cards 30 years ago this year. And I wrote it almost by accident. I had no intention of becoming a writer. I had no real intention of even getting the book published. I had no idea that it was going to transform my life. And least of all could I have thought that this was going to carry on transforming my life 30 years later.
Power is a lot like real estate. It's all about location, location, location. The closer you are to the source, the higher your property value.
It certainly was inspired in large part by my experience with Margaret Thatcher. I mean, politics is a rough, tough business. And politics in the 1980s, as you will remember, and your countrymen will remember, was a very rough, tough time. So I used that to inspire a slightly satirical look at the world of politics, in which she was part of my education, if you like.
Underwood, 2016, 2020, 2024, 2028, 2032, 2036.
Journalism has been one of the major means of communication for politicians over the last over many years, generations almost. Although it's changing, of course. Nowadays, social media is becoming increasingly important, and elections are being run increasingly on social media rather than through, for instance, the traditional forms of press advertising. Politicians reaching out not so much through newspapers as through social media. One of the reasons why I suppose politicians do that is because social media in some ways is more under your control than being interviewed by a journalist. The great truth about politics is that it must be kept as honest as is possible. It not being an entirely honest profession, it can't be an entirely honest profession. There's the idea that politicians should always tell the truth is simple, childish nonsense. There are times when politicians have to mislead in the national interest. But in order to make sure that it's in the national interest rather than their interest, need journalists to keep up the pressure and to keep inquiring.